Welcome to the Powerful Comicsman podcast. This is Jerald Dorado, and we are now at halftime in our 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series. We are now at number 20, but before we continue, let me just tell you about our powerful online pastry shop, Miucha Lux Cakes. We got the best vegan pastries. All of them are homemade, lovingly crafted for everyone. We're at hello.miucha on Instagram and Facebook. Check us out for the best vegan cookies, pastries, and lots of other surprises at hello.miucha. Miucha Lux Cakes. All right. Like I said, we have now reached halftime here in the 40 Life Wisdom at 40 series. I hope everybody's been enjoying the series so far. If you're just catching this now, there's 19 more episodes backlogged waiting for you and 20 upcoming ones. So it's a great time to podcast. Thank you, everybody. I hope you can share the series to everybody who you think can benefit from it. Okay, at number 19, let's get into it. Number 20, rather. Here are the 4 people you need to forgive. I'm gonna talking about forgiveness, obviously. This is actually a lesson, a very important lesson that I read, that I learned and read from a man named Brian Tracy. I watch a lot of his videos, and I cannot find the exact video of him talking about this specifically anymore. But these are also things that I observed in real life, and hopefully you would have the same experience when I share this to you. That you can as you as I talk, you think about the things that happened in your life that this might apply on. Okay, so the 4 people that you need to forgive. Okay, the first one is the toughest. Well, I think everybody. I don't know if this is the toughest, but the first one, you need to forgive your parents. Okay? Because as kids, you yourself right now, uh, you're 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 watching or listening to this. You're probably an adult or a young adult. Siguro pinakamabata na yung high school. I don't know if there are high school uh, students who listen. But if you are, then good for you. This is a head start. This is a great head start for you. So keep this in mind. You need to forgive your parents because as kids, they are the dearest, most important people in your life. Or your parents or the parent figure that you have. Most people would have one. The closest person that you would consider as a parent. But let's just focus on those who really had parents. But you can apply this to whatever situation you may have. Okay, so your parents are the first people that you interact with, and they're the first people that would make you feel what it is to be loved, what it is to be, how it is to be cared for, how it is to exchange ideas with you. But unfortunately, there would be also the first ones to break your heart. That's just fact. They're gonna be the first ones to make you feel bad things as well. And I believe hindi naman gusto ng parents yan, di ba? Those who are parents right now, uh, at least for most people, if you're a parent, you would want the best for your child. But sometimes you yourself are broken as well. So think of it that way, that whatever whatever times that your parents had made you feel bad, made you feel insignificant, made you feel worthless, made you feel made you feel unworthy every time that they compared you to your siblings, who you think they thought was better than you, or to somebody else's kid, di ba? Those comparisons, those hurt every time when they uh, thought little of what you do, di ba? Let's say you drew something, wanted to show your mom that drawing, or you have a project in school. Mom, this is what I did. Ito yung gawa ko. Parang you would want approval. You would want her to be happy. But that was your expectation as a child. You made an effort for your parents, and then this happens so frequently, which is tragic if you really think about it. But that's life, diba? You're gonna show your drawing, and then parang wala lang. Actually, okay pa yung wala lang eh. The wala lang is bad enough eh. Ang masama yung parang ang pangit. Diba? What the hell is that? Is that a cat? Diba? Kumbaga, and then she's gonna go ahead and put you down, like you can't draw, diba? You can't draw. You cannot you can't sing. Why are you singing? Hindi ka, yung boses mo para kang ano, you sound like a goose, diba? Or whatever insult. The thing is, sometimes they think it's funny, and sometimes they just don't know better. Because you know what? Once upon a time, your parents were kids too, and I don't know if you're lucky enough to still have your grandparents around. Watch them, how they treat your parents as well. Maybe they get the same treatment. Maybe they're broken people, just the same. And the thing about loving is that, about giving rather, is that you can't give what you don't have. If they were if their parents treated them the same way, then most likely that's how they're gonna act as well, because they're also broken people. And we have this you're lucky if you do not have an emotionally broken parent. I think you should realize that as well, diba? uh, but for sure, at one point in their lives, your mom and dad will kind of say something. Sometimes they don't really mean, like they say, mataba ka, ganyan. Diba? Mga ganong klase. Or, yun nga, you can't sing, stick to dancing, you can't dance, do something else. Diba? You can't play basketball, pick anything. Diba? But maybe that's how they were treated when they were young as well. And uh, I would also like to share a perspective from Joe Rogan. He was Joe Rogan is my favorite podcaster, by the way. So he told this story about his father. So his father left them when he was like 5 or 6 years old. So he didn't have a father back then, and he eventually had a stepdad. But when his biological dad left him, he was devastated, diba? And hindi siya, well, the takeaway was when he was asked much later on in life, what he said was, I think somebody asked if he's mad, uh, if he's mad to his father. He said something like, uh, he's not. Kasi if he if he made a mental experiment, a thought experiment, and imagined if he was the same guy, broke, who just had had to marry a girl at a very young age and start a family in the 60s without being fully equipped in life, maybe he could have done the same thing. Diba? Who's to say if he could have done better? And this is not to to what do you call it, to condone bad parenting, diba? But it's just an idea that that is possible to happen. So because the thing about grown ups, as I can attest, being almost 40, being a grown up, I'm putting air quotes, I don't think grown ups really exist. We're just overage kids. I'm gonna digress if I pursue this train of thought. but but what I'm saying is that when we were kids, we thought so highly about our parents. We have placed them in pedestals. That this is the ideal person. I want to be like him. I want to be like my father, strong and capable. I want to be like my mom, strong woman na alam mo yun, capable of loving and caring. It's 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 your ideal, and you have so much respect kasi those values are instilled to you. And you should respect your parents, especially if they are really respectable. But you forget that that they're people too. That they're just overgrown kids. I am 40. My parents had me when they were, I don't know, 28, late 20s. When I was in my late 20s, I was an idiot. Didn't know what I was doing. Diba? In my 30s, I became less of an idiot, but an idiot nonetheless. Because we only get less stupid over time. Nobody gets really smart. That's just the case. That's just if you really want, if you will not, your lifetime in this in your lifetime is not enough. Yung human span natin ng species natin is not enough to discover everything about the universe. You're gonna die stupid if you're gonna look at it in a cosmic perspective. But so that's just being if you look at it that way. Okay, of course, there are smart people too. But if you're gonna think that somebody, a grown up, your parents have figured shit out, then you are deeply mistaken. They they have no clue. They're just as clueless as you. And I I realized that in my 30s, there's no reason why that I would think that my parents were doing much better than than I did, 'di ba? So the older you get, you realize that these are heavily flawed individuals as well, and they did not holding them to a degree of of how you or keeping that idea of them being these what word should I use, people, revered people in pedestals, is unfair. If you're gonna keep that, maybe if you're a kid, pwede. Pero when you grow up, realize that they are just as human as you are. And you are screw up, they were screw ups too. No matter kahit anong position pa niyan. Even if your parent is the president of the universe, he still screws up. So you have to forgive them. You have to forgive them. It is unfortunate that there are people who in their who are already in their 50s and still they're angry about their parents. They still hate them. They still haven't forgiven them for the things that they experienced in childhood. Alam mo yun, yung iba nga namatay na yung mga magulang. Their parents are long dead and they still keep the hate. They still keep the pain. Not necessarily hate, but the pain and the inability to let go and forgive still consumes them. And that pain will be passed on to the next generation, to their kids, to everyone around them. And that is tragic. It is the cycle that I was talking about in the past episode. It is a cycle that needs to be broken. And knowing this, you have the power to break it. It's if it's too much, then you would need to do something about it. And forgiving your parents, I think this is chronological, diba? You need to forgive your parents because your parents, like I said earlier, they are the first one. They're the first people that you love, the first people that you interacted, the first people that you experienced all of these complex emotions in your life. So those are the building blocks of your emotions. Everything that you feel right now, you can trace it. How you react in situations, you can trace it from your childhood. That doesn't mean that you can't do something about it, diba? You can, let's say, you would know better as you would discover as you grow old, diba? But you would need to start in your foundations with your early relationships with your parents. Kasi most likely lahat ng grudges mo against your parents, you can trace it back when you were very little, when you were in grade school, in kinder, in high school, when you were with them, when you were still dependent on them, on their provisions, diba? And yun, you need don't allow yourself to to be to be a prisoner of that of that hatred, di ba? And wouldn't it be great also if you can make your parents feel that they have been forgiven? Kasi they that will sting them too, eh, di ba? No, let them feel if you, kasi it hurts because you love your parents. It hurts because you love them. You want to make them happy. You want to win their approval. Wouldn't it be, kasi maybe they didn't get theirs. Well, they did not feel loved by their own parents. They never, I mean, they also felt they fell short in life compared to the expectations from them. And knowing this, you can now have the power to grant them otherwise and not be part of a cycle that is painful. Cycle of pain. There are parents who are horrible. They were rapist parents. But still, no matter how their parents who really kumbaga, sold their children. But the thing about forgiveness is that you are forgiving for yourself. Forgiveness is actually a selfish activity. You forgive not because they deserve it, but it's because you deserve the peace of mind after forgiving. So that's so with that, the next set of people that you need to forgive are gonna be other people who just regular people, your maybe your friends who were your bullies. Those people, they don't really matter as much as your parents do. Although there are some friends who can hurt you so much. If you get betrayed by somebody, that hurts. That's gonna scar. But long story short, just forgive them if even if they're not asking for forgiveness. Any of these people that I'm gonna mention right now, forgive them even if they're not asking for forgiveness, because you are again forgiving them for yourself. It's not forgiveness is not a favor for the person you are forgiving. Of course, sometimes it will feel good if you are, alam mo yun, if you know that you have transgressed somebody. Knowing that they have forgiven you will feel good, di ba? Kasi pinatawad ka na. Sometimes. but even if they're, but still, yung galit kasi is, kung galit ka, sometimes you just need to forgive. You just need to forgive that person, even if they don't deserve it, because you deserve the peace of mind. You are. I'm just repeating what I said. It's. I'm not the first one to say it. Okay, and I won't be the last. You will hear that over and over again. It's a cliche. It has become that. But it, like I always say, cliches are made because there's truth in them. Diba? No matter who these people are, your close friends, your relatives na hindi mo naman ka-close, diba? Your even mga relatives na close mo, the guy who cut you while driving, di ba? Mga ganun, from petty things, from neighbors or friends na nagpakalat ng chismis about you, your bullies, that girl na alam mo yun, or guy who beat you up. Well, forgiveness doesn't also mean na you get them away with it, 'di ba? Kasi you can fight back. Fighting back is not off the table, but sometimes even if you fought back, galit ka pa rin eh. Kasi you still haven't forgive the person. So in a way, like I said in the last episode, you're still being conquered because you're still angry, and that's gonna take its toll on you. And yeah, you have to do it for yourself. Okay, so and then the third group of people, or to some, just one person, um, and to those who are applicable. Pero I think it is also, I think everybody who has loved another person, this will apply. Kasi the third person would be all of your romantic relationships. So even kahit hindi naging kayo, 'di ba? To those exes who cheated on you, 'di ba? Those toxic relationships that you had. Those, what else? Hindi those people na hindi naging kayo, na nagpinaasa ka, 'di ba? Those people who fell short to their promises. Those people who broke your heart. These are things that are really tough to some people. Others can handle this better, but some people are heavily damaged because of past relationships, and it has not happened to me, but I don't know. I can't even start how to explain how they feel, but still the same rule applies. You want to forgive that person because the longer you hold on to the grudge, the longer you allow their power to control you, even if they don't care anymore. And the thing is, sometimes this is a very unromantic thing to say, but sometimes you just need to open yourself to someone else's love before you can move on. If you don't want to get into another relationship, that's your choice. That's an option too. Pero if you feel, kasi there are people who I observe lang in my personal observations, there are people who can't stand being alone. I know several people who are like that. That's why they get boyfriends as soon as they can after a breakup. Hindi nababakante. Mahaba na yung 2 months na walang boyfriend or girlfriend, because that's how they feel the need to be in a relationship and get that assurance from somebody romantic. And it's there's nothing wrong with that, but we're talking about people na alam mo yun, did harm to you, or harm in your emotionally hurt you. And freeing yourself from that bondage only helps you, even if and I don't know, I think you should also open yourself then, if to other people who can, because there's a lot of people also who wants to give love and they think nobody wants their love. And there's a lot of people who craves love and don't know where to get them, and they're just shutting their doors off, or just keeping a single door open for a very particular person, diba? So it's up to you if you want to. Sometimes kasi you just in love with the idea of a person, diba? Na siya lang, kaya feeling mo siya lang yung para sa'yo. Kasi the person becomes an idea for you. Hindi na realistic. And the moment that hindi na siya nagko-conform dun sa idea na gusto mo of how you wanted that person to be, nagkakaroon kayo ng problema. Diba? You need to be able to accept the person for who he is or she is. And if the person doesn't want to comply or doesn't want to be the person that you want him to be anymore, then you can't control them. You have to let go. And that's gonna hurt. But especially if you really love somebody. But you have to let go and you have to forgive for the peace of mind of the both of you. Okay. And now, this is the toughest. The last person that you need to forgive, the most important one, is yourself. You have to be able to forgive yourself. Because you're a fuck up. I'm sorry, but every one of us are. You screw up all the time. You let people down. You have let your parents down. You've let your friends down. You've let your past relationships down. And most importantly, you have let yourself down probably countless times already. And that every failure, kasi you know deep in your heart you play a part in those failures, but that's just the name of the game. Everybody fails. Everybody is responsible to the outcomes, diba? Some bad things happened because a lot of things pala happen. Bad things happen because in a way you did not do anything to prevent it. Maybe you play a part unwillingly or willingly para mag-cause ng distress sa isang tao, to a friend. Or maybe you willingly disobeyed your parents because you want to rebel and you screw up. Or you cheated. You're the one who cheated to your exes for whatever reason. Forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. And whenever I share these things to friends, ang laging sinasagot nila, it's easy na patawarin yung 1, 2, and 3 group, but the toughest is forgiving yourself. And understandably, it makes sense. Kasi how do you do that? Well, this is how you do it. Treat yourself as somebody as another person. Diba? Kasi it's easy to the logic is this. It's easy to forgive other people kasi they're other people. So treat your past self as a different person. because your past self is not who you are anymore. You are smarter, you know better, you have learned from your mistakes. Well, the first thing that you should do also is to admit that you you made a mistake. Diba? You have to start there. Uh, and you have to realize that sometimes kaya yung guilt kasi I wasn't able to mention this dun sa guilt topic on number 19, the last episode. But you can also guilt the shit out of yourself. Diba? You can keep blaming yourself on things. If only I did this, then mas okay sana, mas masaya sana yung parents ko. If only I did this, hindi sana na-aksidente si ganito. Alam mo yun, eh, the there's countless of uh, of examples that we could think of, but you get what I mean. It's you can guilt the shit out of yourself, and it's if you have to go through that, then I don't know, maybe you need to. But if you're gonna go through that, you would have to get out of it as well. Okay? Kasi maybe it's a process. I don't know. Maybe you need to be reminded. But you cannot have a grudge on yourself forever. You need to forgive yourself and realize that you, who you were before, is not the same person that you are right now. You know better, and that given another chance, you would have done differently. You can't take it back anymore because you can't go back in time, but you can try again harder. You can make amends. You can, if you hurt somebody, let them know you're sorry. Diba? Be humble to ask for forgiveness. Be humble, be truthful to yourself. Be honest. That's the only way to free yourself from guilt for your own mind. It's gonna be a challenge, but if you can train yourself into thinking that you are a new person, that you are somebody else now, and you can do better, and that you deserve second chances, that you deserve peace of mind. There are things that you cannot take back anymore, but that's just life. Your life will go on, and their lives will go on just the same. There's no point in keeping grudges and torturing yourself into, I don't know, depression, I don't know, bad things, or worse, committing the same mistakes. So you have to forgive yourself. You deserve it for the peace of mind of the past you, the present you, and the future you. So there, those are the 4 people that you need to forgive, and I hope this opens your mind. I hope this helps. I hope you can share this to other people as well. Not just this podcast, but you can teach these things to other people, as I learned it from Brian Tracy. It's one of the men that I love, that I probably will never meet in my life. That's the magic of it, diba? That's the magic of pursuing knowledge and the modern age as well. But those are the four people you need to forgive: your parents, everybody else, strangers, those who have transgressed you, your past relationships, your ex lovers, and then finally, and most importantly, you need to forgive yourself. That's it. Powerful Comics Man Podcast.